Infernal. Pawn. Collectors of hard-to-find things share a singular mindset: to stroll into a pawn shop or second-hand store and discover a very rare item which the proprietor doesn't realize is valuable. Whether it be a vintage guitar, an impossible-to-obtain baseball card, or some other buried gem, the theme of this opportunistic fantasy is the same: to happen upon and quietly buy unrealized treasure at a fraction of its true value. Adding more excitement is the shrewd realization that the bargain is gained at the expense of a witness seller. They feel a sadistic pleasure in seizing an opportunity away from the unaware. Most of the time, however, the utter junk you encounter on the shelves of those dirty places wouldn't even be worth hauling to the dump. People pawn things they don't even care if they ever get back, but every once in a great while, a legitimately valuable item will reveal itself during the hunt. From that magical unicorn scenario, it keeps unrealistic hope alive. Every one of these scavengers seemed to know some lucky jerk who located the find of a lifetime and bragged about the juicy deal to his envious audience. The revolving legend of undeserved fortune keeps the dream alive. Pawn shops and title loan places share a dubious distinction. They purposely reside in poor areas and high-crime neighborhoods because that's where people are desperate. They need money, theft is common, and the unscrupulous pawnbrokers don't even care if the merchandise is hot or not. They know that someone will come along and buy the stolen item anyway, no questions asked. It's a vicious cycle that promotes crime, injustice, and poverty. For every unscrupulous pawnbroker who offers pennies on the dollar, there's a corresponding unicorn searcher hoping for a secret pot of unrecognized gold. They ignore the signs that it's too good to be true. It's like a gambler who is unable to recognize their distorted perception of reality. Because of a destructive addiction to trying to beat the odds of probability, they can't rationalize the hard truth. The odds are forever stacked against the shortcut takers like them in life. Murphy was one such searcher. He always made a point of scouring the pawn shops and junk stores for the elusive treasure. He fully believed his ship would come in someday if he was relentless in his bargain hunting. Having never spent any significant amount of time in the seedy underbelly of the big city before, it appeared to be a golden opportunity for him to cover new ground. He meticulously made his way from one rundown, heavily fortified shop entrance to the next. He fully expected them to be filled with stolen goods, but that didn't bother him in the least. He didn't care about crime or the pain and heartache of the victims who had been robbed of their possessions. That only meant a much greater possibility of real bargains and collectible gems, hidden among the piles of burned-out power tools and worthless VHS tapes. Morality and ethics were for dope and suckers as far as he was concerned. He only cared about the cold hard cash. At the end of the alley, after nearly a dozen pawn shop duds, there was one last promising prospect. Unlike all the other stores in the high-crime neighborhood, this one didn't have metal bars on the windows and doors. It had bright interior lights and well-stocked window boxes. Far more encouraging to him though, the featured items in the displays were of high-quality things with unbelievably low price tags. It was very desirable-looking merchandise by anyone's standards and priced dirt cheap. He hoped it was finally his missing pot of gold. It had been a long rainbow of disappointment so far. There were a number of odd signs outside which almost seemed to discourage potential customers from entering. Some of them read, "These deals really are too good to be true. Don't let the misfortune of others stand in your way of amazing finds." And the highly disturbing, "Let's see if we can strike an infernal pact with your blood." The word infernal and blood were in bold red ink. The owner obviously had a morbid sense of humor. Murphy liked that. They were obviously two cynical birds of a feather looking to see who might outwit the other. He was eager to look through the store and see if there were other exceptional bargains among the exciting teaser items displayed prominently in the windows. Next to the door handle was one last troubling sign. Are you sure you want to conduct your business with me? Be very sure before you enter. A deal is a deal." Murphy hesitated only briefly. He assumed the ominous warning was directed solely at would-be armed robbers. The neighborhood was rife with crime, but the proprietor clearly didn't tolerate thieves robbing him. How else would Infernal Pawn have Paul Reed Smith custom guitars displayed for $350 with the exotic dragon inlay, or authentic Rolexes for $200? 5-finger discount, that's how. Murphy smiled slyly. He was going to really rack up with all the infernal deals offered inside, or so he thought. His immoral greed and eagerness to ignore the obvious warnings and diabolical truth led to his eternal demise. As soon as the glass door slammed shut behind him, the ruse was over. Infernal Pawn was just a clever trap for opportunities drawn to easy money and taking advantage of others. With his damned soul now forfeit, he and countless others were trapped forever inside the sticky, honey-trap facade of Infernal Pawn.